Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's Papa Hector here. Today, we're going to discuss anxiety and depression and the spiritual solutions as well as view of anxiety and depression in our spiritual work. So, before I get into that, make sure you click subscribe to this channel and you can follow me at Instagram at Hunga Hector. I also have Google Podcast, iTunes Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Anchor FM Podcast. So you can look me up at Papa Hector Salva. So anxiety and depression is a very real thing that a lot of people are dealing with. And our spiritual work, the spiritual work, teaches about anxiety and depression. And it teaches that it indicates anxiety and depression has a solution in the spiritual work. In fact, what brought me to make this video today was a recent email from a client who we helped her completely eradicate and destroy her anxiety that she's dealt with for more than 15 years. And she had tried everything and done all sorts of treatments and everything, unable to deal to eradicate this. And now this is a year of her not having any anxiety or depression, and she was having really severe reactions. So all of her physical reactions are gone, and it's a beautiful thing. So our spiritual work teaches that everything comes down from the spiritual realm. And so in our spiritual work, there are spiritual treatments, and we have the spiritual path, the spiritual teachings, okay, that eradicate anxiety and depression. Anxiety and depression come up due to certain imbalances spiritually and energetically. And our spiritual work deals and can solve, eradicate, destroy them so that people can live a full life. A lot of what's out there as far as anxiety or depression is advice, things that may treat the symptoms, things that may cut it down some, help you deal with it. But our spiritual work says that you shouldn't have to live a life where you're dealing with it. You shouldn't have the spiritual realm, okay, can bring through miracles and does bring through miracles. And when you're doing the proper spiritual and mystical work, this becomes a thing of the past and totally eradicated. Now, spiritually, okay, to not have that anxiety or depression, there's certain things that are needed. And one thing is a proper foundation. The second thing is a proper connection to the force. And the third thing is proper development of that power and that spiritual connection. So those three things are needed. And many people involve themselves in spiritual things or spiritual activities. And you can connect with the spiritual world and do spiritual things and do somewhat effective spiritual things, spiritual activities, and still have anxiety and depression. And in fact, you can even have it more. It can make it worse, or it can even bring it on to you. Because if those first three things aren't properly there and in balance and aligned, okay, that's a result that will come forward as a result. So there's many spiritual workers, there's many spiritual people that are dealing with anxiety and depression. And what it's telling you is that there's something off there, okay? But everyone can't resolve this for you. Because in order for it to be resolved for you, okay, the person who's going to resolve this for you has to have those three things in order for themselves. This is definitely one of those situations. This is also one of those situations that it's deep work. It's very deep work. Okay? This is very deep work of healing, of spiritual healing that resolves and eradicates that, totally destroying it. It's beautiful when you see people finally at peace. And many of these people have been told that this is something they would have to deal with for the rest of their life. Okay? But it's true. When you're not connected to the force, the spirit, the light, you may not be able to resolve. But these things have a solution. They can be resolved. There are spiritual solutions to this. Okay? Psychology, okay, therapy, all these things that people put a lot of trust in, that's only been around not even 100 years. But who treated that before any of that? Who treated that before was the shamans and the spiritual and mystical teachers, gurus, mentors, whatever you want to call them, hungans, mambos, who had those three things in check, plus much, much more, because it takes a lot. But it is resolvable. But they will tell you that it's not resolvable. They will tell you that that's just how it has to be. But that is not true. Can't believe everything that they tell you out here. I mean, even what I tell you, check it out. I'm not the only spiritual worker, and I'm not the only spiritual worker in history who has commonly and regularly resolved these things for people. Okay? But I will also tell you that there are many spiritual workers that are dealing with this, because if you can do spiritual things and still be dealing with other things. Okay? And there's certain limitations, but when you do that, it causes certain harm to yourself, even without you realizing it. Without you realizing it your own self, you're causing more of this anxiety and depression, because those things that need to be in place to keep these things away from you and clear are not there. Okay? These are all facts, and you could go check them facts. So anyone who really develop themselves with the sight will be able to give you them same facts. These things can be resolved, can and should be resolved, because if you're dealing with these things, how can you basically move yourself much better? There's nothing wrong if you are dealing with these things, meaning life is life. Ish happens. Things happen. But don't let them sell you on that's how it has to be. If you need help from us, I'm going to go ahead and leave our emails at the bottom of the description of this, and you can contact us and we can see how we can get you there where I've gotten all these other people. Get you what you need so that you can start creating the life that you meant to live. And I hope this has helped you out. God bless you. Many blessings to everybody today and always. Keep the faith.